So, I have been spending a lot of my time so far in the Shadowlands Pre Patch looking for new gold farms to try out and showcase to people, but it's about time I take a look at leveling in the Shadowlands Pre Patch, as that is one of the things I'm legitimately most excited about, as I have some characters I want to level up before Shadowlands actually comes out myself. So for this video I have tested 4 different methods of leveling to find out which leveling method is fastest in the Shadowlands Pre Patch. These leveling methods are questing, dungeon leveling, leveling through gathering professions aka Herbalism and Mining, and last but not least, battle pet leveling. For questing and dungeon leveling I went with the Battle for Azeroth expansion, as that is where all new players will have to go anyway, and I would imagine some advanced players will go there as well, simply because the quests over there are super fast, especially at lower levels, and most of us have all the quests memorized by this point. I could choose Warlords of Draenor, but I feel like other content creators like Bellular have covered leveling in that zone or that expansion pretty well, so I went with BFA zones to be a little bit more new player friendly. For Battle Pet leveling and Herbalism and Mining, I went with the Mist of Pandaria expansion, simply because I love the scenes over there for Battle Pet leveling. The music is fantastic in my opinion, and for gathering I actually need the Ghost Iron ore, as well as the Green Tea Leaf, so it's a win-win. Another great place to utilize Herbalism and Mining for leveling would be Cataclysm zones for Elementium and Whiptail as well as Volatiles, but I'm pretty stacked on those. So yeah, my main purpose with this video is to compare those 4 types of leveling, and to do this I have actually leveled for exactly 1 hour with each method, and I've done this on 2 characters, and I've tracked how much experience I got in every single test. I will compare all of them at the end, but let's talk about the worst first and then work our way up to number 1. Clocking in at last place we have Herbalism and Mining in Pandaria. Big shock, I know. So here are the stats. I started at level 33 pretty much on the dot, and I farmed for exactly 1 hour, and I got to level 35 and 40%, so I got 2.4 levels. One note here is that I did use Darkmoon Firewater for faster gathering, and for me personally I really wanted to test this way of leveling since I can make a decent amount of gold while actually leveling, which is fantastic, and I barely even think about the levels. They are just a bonus since my main objective would be farming gold. For me I'm trying to set up multiple Mist of Pandaria mounts to craft, and for that I need a bunch of Ghost Iron, so leveling also this way would be very ideal. But yeah, 2.4 levels per hour from this, based on my 1 hour test. At third place we have Battle Pet leveling. Honestly I have no idea how this is worse than dungeon leveling, because it feels pretty damn fast, but it is what it is. From my 1 hour test I went from level 26.5 to level 30, giving me 3.5 levels per hour. I got between 8% and 10% of my level per battle, depending on my character's level, aka in the beginning I got 10% and towards the end I got 8%. There are multiple places to do this, but pretty much you want to find a spot with fairly condensed battle pets to battle, and you want them to be the same type, so you can set up a team to counter them easily. For this location in the video I'm looking for aquatic battle pets, using my flying battle pets to counter them. I have another location I will show you later, as I plan on making a whole video covering battle pet leveling in specific. Battle Pet leveling is something I personally really enjoy, because once you find the perfect location, you can pretty much do this while putting in the bare minimum effort, and you will level pretty fast. For example, in the location I'll show you in my Battle Pet specific video, you can pretty much solo every fight with 1 pet, and only pressing 1 button, so you can pretty much autopilot the entire thing. The only thing that requires non-autopilot action is walking from Battle Pet to Battle Pet. Clocking in at second place we have dungeon leveling. Now for this I have excluded the queue times, so my results here are purely based on time spent inside the dungeons. I started the timer once I got into the dungeon, and I paused it after every single dungeon. This test was also done solo, not as a pre-made group, to make it a more realistic leveling method for new players or solo players. I started at level 29 and I ended at level 33 after exactly 1 hour of testing, giving me exactly enough time to test 4 dungeons. The first one took a bit long, so I thought I would have to go overtime, but since we got Freehold as the 4th dungeon, we actually made it. I started at level 29 blank, with 0% into the level, and I ended at exactly level 33, so I got exactly 4 levels per hour from this leveling method. I also did exactly 4 dungeons, so it's pretty much 1 level per dungeon. Now I did queue for random BFA dungeons, and I have to tell you, the experience bonus from queuing for the random dungeons was what gave me probably 80% of my experience here. The mobs inside the dungeon pretty much gave me nothing, or about 20% in total. I also did not complete any dungeon quest, so this is purely dungeon grinding, and to be even more specific, it is BFA dungeon grinding. I believe certain dungeons in other expansions could be even quicker to complete, giving you even more experience per hour. At first place we have good old questing, and since again I wanted this to be new player friendly, I went with Tiragard Sound in Battle for Azeroth, since new players will have to level through BFA before gaining access to Chromie Time. Over here I started at level 20, and after 1 hour I was level 26 and 37%, giving me 6.37 levels per hour from questing. I also believe this can be sped up by using clever tricks, like I've seen and heard some tricks about using Azerite armor at lower levels to increase your damage output by about 50% while leveling, and I do believe you could level way faster by questing in other expansions, or by following some insane speedrunning route by Azeroth Autopilot. Personally, I do use Azeroth Autopilot, but I only really use it for auto quest hand-ins right now, and I just level wherever I want. I should also say that for every single test here I went super casual. I was in no hurry or no rush, so this is basically from a casual's point of view, and anyone who really tries, like try hard, can get way more experience per hour than this, I think. For some closing words on this video, I also want to mention that these 4 methods are probably not the best methods to level with, and you can easily level much faster by either using boosts, buying boosts, or by boosting yourself with a second account. You can also force spawn rares and treasures by using party sync to get even more experience that way as well, and you could potentially use that to force spawn mining nodes as well, which could work really well if you're able to find a cave with multiple vein spawns, but that is something I'll have to test out later. I also saw Want to Buy Gold's video on leveling in Shadowlands Pre Patch, where he talked about and showed some stockades leveling method, including a monk, where you use 2 accounts, one being the character you're leveling, and the other one being a high level monk. You group up, you both enter the dungeon, you pull the whole dungeon with your high level monk, but you don't do any damage. You then place your monk statue to keep aggro, you leave the group on your monk, and you use the character you're leveling to kill all of the enemies and get the experience equivalent to if you're soloing the entire dungeon. But those tricks are for more advanced levelers, and I wanted to keep this focused on the more casual leveler, and keep it somewhat friendly for new players as well. I am quite happy with my findings, and I am planning on using both Herbalism and Mining, and Battle Pet leveling to level up a couple of alts myself in the upcoming weeks, before Shadowlands comes out. And that's pretty much it guys, that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it, leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you again very soon.